I love to start these interviews by sharing something that the person I'm talking to has posted online. And so this is actually a Bible verse that you posted, but I want to read the caption with it. But so everybody understands, the Bible verse is Psalm 18:2, and it says, "He is my shield, the power that saves me, and my place of safety." And then Sarah, here's the caption that you put. You said, "I'm learning that healing isn't linear, back and forth, sideways sometimes, all kinds of wonky. But even then, movement is progress." Can you talk to us about that a little bit for the person right now who feels like, I should be further in this journey? Why am I still being upset about something I thought I had healed from a couple months ago? What would you say to them?
Oh, I mean, I could talk about this from several different angles, but you're aware of some of it. The last 3.5 to 4 years for our family has been all kinds of wonky, all kinds of sideways, and there's no way we could have predicted the train that came running down that track for my family in 2019. So I guess I thought I had a pretty straight, maybe you felt this way too. I guess I felt like I had a pretty straight path in front of me. I just started teaching at CCU and gone back to work after my youngest went to school, feeling like, okay, we made it through that season. I'm a very seasoned person, and here we go. And then it was quickly apparent that my season was running off the tracks really quickly. Um, and so what I've learned about that is several things that are hard to talk about still, but because they make me emotional. But mostly it's because Jesus turned out to be exactly who he said he was in my life. I became a Christian when I was 5. My mom grew up in a cult, so my parents raised us as new believers. So I knew the Lord, loved the Lord my whole life, but in 2019 when everything started running off the rails, I had a I had the opportunity to practice, believe and trust my faith in ways I never had before. And it's changed everything, is the truth. It's changed everything.
Can you tell me a little bit more about what you mean by that when you say you found that Jesus was exactly who he said he was? What does that look like for you, or what comes to mind as you say that phrase?
Well, when you're growing up in the church, you feel I was the youth group kid, the worship leader, the women's ministry leader, the Bible study leader. I've done all of those things and with great intention, I think. Good meaning behind it. Went to a Christian college, went to a Christian graduate program. I'm now going to a Christian PhD program. Felt like I put the package together in a really good, healthy way and with all good intention. Benjamin's cancer diagnosis, my dad's Parkinson's diagnosis, my own diagnosis came with an opportunity, we'll say, to be in the ditch with Jesus. You know that meme, that reel where the sheep keeps jumping back in, the shepherd brings
He gets out and he runs right back in.
Yes, and he just keeps diving back in because thinking, oh, I can control this, I can figure this out. And the moment it became clear to me was the day we were sitting at Children's in January 3rd, 2020, right before COVID hit, when the oncologist said, Sarah, is that a calendar in your lap? And I said, yeah. And she said, oh, um, that's not how this works. I'm going to need you to put your calendar away and all of your expectations about the next year of your life and live by faith that we have you, we have Benjamin, and we will take the best care of him, but you will not be able to plan one moment of this experience. And she was right. She was right. So that's when it just really, not to be overly dramatic, but that's when it just became evident to me that the Lord was going to teach me something that all along the way I thought I was learning. I was trying, my best to, I don't know what the right way to say it is, but just be in it with Jesus, be in life with Jesus. This was totally different. Fast forward, 8 weeks when COVID hit and Jeff is an ICU hospitalist. And he was in lockdown because of needing to stay safe for him and his patients, and us needing to keep Benjamin safe.
Benjamin is Sarah's son, for people who don't know that, who was diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah, our 10-year-old. Mm-hmm. Yeah. it just became quickly it just was so evident to me so quickly that God was in the most mysterious, loving, um, uh, profound way going to show me a whole nother side of my faith that I hadn't experienced before. Nobody wants to do cancer again. Nobody wants to do any of this again. But I would never change what I've learned about who he is. Never, never. And I don't think Benjamin would either, having gone through even the chemo and all of the post treatment that we're still in. I think he knows Jesus. We know Jesus in a totally different way.
And I wasn't going to even bring any of this up. I just want you to know that. But I'm just curious, what were some of the examples, just for those of us who are listening, who maybe has a friend going through their own cancer journey or a family member, what are some of the helpful things people said or did, and some of the not so helpful things people said or did that maybe we can try to avoid, even if we have good intentions as we're doing it or saying it?
So many people did so many things with great intentions. And so you have to give them, my mom helped me say, give them the benefit of the doubt. They don't know what to do, you know? So she was right behind me saying, just keep giving people the benefit of the doubt. Even when I would be like, please don't say that, or please don't do that. Or it was weird things. I couldn't be home for most of those 6 months. And so it was weird things like I'd walk into my house and there'd be food in my fridge and things in my room that I didn't know where they came from. And I'd be like, who was in my house? It was very this weird mix of like feeling anxious about my life being out of control, really, and not being able to be there for my other kids and being like, who fed my kids today? You know, that was really so most of it was done with such great intention. There were a few weird things that happened when people the principal of my daughter's school said some people just want to be close to things when they're happening. So let us help you set boundaries when it doesn't feel loving or right. Let us just help you um, let your community. And boy, did they surrounded our family with protection from, because you never know. Some people can get a little strange around things.
I am like really impressed by that principle.
Oh, she's incredible. She just kept saying, I got it. I got it. Let me handle this. All the principals of all the three schools that other kids were in, did the same thing for us and our church and our friends. So it was allowing people to love and hold me in a way that I had never been loved and held and seen before. We needed every meal, every day, every coffee card, every prayer, every to get us through. I mean, he was critically ill, and so we needed everything that everybody provided for us. And then, as he got better, I needed to go to therapy and figure out how to not be a therapist, but lean into therapy.
I wanted to ask you about that tension actually. What was that like as a therapist? Because here you know the strategies, you know the tools, and you're telling people every day, here's what you need, right? Were you able to put that into practice for yourself in that time that you needed it? Or what did it feel like it's happening to somebody else? What was that like for you?
Great question. It was complicated, and it took me about 6 months after we got home that fall and getting back into normal routines and can figure out his post chemo treatments for me to feel like I could even do something like that. But it became quickly apparent with my anxiety and depression symptoms and sleeping problems that the trauma of that time period was real for me. It was real for our other kids, and I found just the smartest, kindest, and I'm a loud Italian girl, so I needed somebody that was going to be like, just, get in there with me. And
I just want Sarah, I do that with my therapist. I tell her, I'm like, I not that I want you to hurt my feelings, but I want help. Like I want to be redirected. I want you to stop me, interrupt. Yes, I want that. Aggressive therapy.
oh, it was aggressive. I mean, I'm flopping around on the couch. She's throwing pillows. We're yelling at each other. And it was just incredibly, deeply, beautifully helpful.
Hello, my name is Heather Thompson Day. And if you enjoyed the 10 minutes that you just saw of this episode on YouTube, I invite you to go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Type in the title of this show right now that you see on YouTube, and you can listen to the full episode. These episodes are at least 30 minutes. Sometimes they're an hour, and I would love for you to listen to the entire conversation. I absolutely love growing with you on Viral Jesus.